Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome again to another episode of D.E.I. Good gravy, I screwed up already. D.E.I. Deathwatch, where we chronicle the downfall and the doubling down of diversity, equity, and inclusion when I'm not bumbling over myself. Welcome to the first Monday of 2026, the first episode of 2026, and it's purportedly a new year in the lifespan of D.E.I. We'll find out together, I suppose, if I have everything ready now? The background and everything? Boy, oh boy. Live TV, everybody, what can I tell you? But before I get into today's stories, who's joining me on this beautiful Monday morning? Noah Sencio, hello. Advocatus Diaboli, good afternoon. Shiograth, hello. Blue-Eyed Scream, hello. Who else is here? Walter Tomaszewski, chicken thighs, Yukon Gold, and red potatoes. Shimiji mushrooms and sliced garnet yams, all crock-potted and delicious. You're making me hungry. I haven't had lunch yet. How dare you? Mike Savage, Blarg. Twisted Skipster, hello. Morgan King, good afternoon. Who else is here? Keeverdam, hello, and thank you, Keeverdam, as always. At the top of the chat box, guys, there's a link to the Leukemia and Lymphoma Society. Please take a look at that when you have the opportunity. If you can donate, please do so. But even if you can't, if you can share that out on social media, that would be appreciated. So thank you ahead of time for that, and thank you, Keeverdam, as always, for providing the link. One Portnoy, good afternoon. Funtime Bats, hello. And Tack Alpaca, good afternoon. Daryl Odell, hello. Simon Willikins, hello. Oh my gosh. Corbin Dallas, you're also here. Multipass. Spoonie DeRebel, hello. Lunatic, the internet's favorite lunatic, hello. And I think that's everybody I saw. If I missed you, if you're lurking, if you're in the future, hello, good afternoon, welcome to 2026. We're back into the wonderful world of D.E.I. Yes, 2026, the year that D.E.I. is supposed to really die, if the EEOC keeps to its word in some way, shape, or form. Time will tell. But in the meantime, do you know what the premier advice is for D.E.I. as we enter 2026? The premier advice? Well, the premier advice is the DEI business imperative, why DEI strategy should be at the top of every company's agenda in 2026. Yes. No, I'm not kidding you. I guess maybe this guy is too. I don't know. But no, this should be at the top of everybody's agenda in 2026. Now, if you mean top of agenda as in let's wind it down, then maybe we're on the same page. But let's find out together, shall we? Insights from inclusion expert. You see, I've talked about this before. You don't have to have a PhD after your name. You don't have to have an MD after your name or anything like that, or a BA even, or a BB or whatever. No. You just have to say, I'm an inclusion expert and an equity expert because I said so, right? DEIBAJ. Sounds like one of those personality tests. Insights from inclusion expert Shane Windmeyer on the evolving role of DEI in modern organizations. Yes, the evolving role. Okay, I guess that's Shane. All right. As 2026 approaches, American companies are facing a rapidly changing business climate where the stakes for culture, leadership, and innovation have never been higher. The importance of diversity, equity, and inclusion, DEI strategy, is no longer just a matter of corporate social responsibility. It has become essential for operational resilience, brand reputation, and talent retention. According to renowned strategist Shane Windmeyer, companies that neglect DEI as part of their core strategy risk falling behind in ways that go beyond compliance or public perception. Well, here's the thing. It really all depends on what the DOJ and the EEOC do this year. Because if they do nothing, or nothing effective, he might not be wrong. In a recent interview, Shane Windmeyer described DEI as the, quote, invisible engine driving many of the most successful organizations forward. Name one. No, seriously, name one organization whose wind at its sails is DEI. That isn't itself a DEI consulting company. Name the Fortune 500 company that has just, boy oh boy, found the golden goose in DEI. I'll wait. He explained that, quote, leaders who put DEI at the center of their business strategy are not only responding to social expectations, but they are also building teams that are more creative, agile, and ready for change, unquote. So I've been told. For 10 years now. Okay. As workplaces navigate an era defined by legislative shifts, generational turnover, and changing customer demands, Windmeyer's perspective is more relevant than ever. Well, I agree. Anybody that is still full-throatedly endorsing and encouraging DEI, their voice is decidedly relevant. Because I really want to hear what the continued justification is. Rising expectations, new challenges. Companies in 2026 will be expected to respond to a range of new and sometimes conflicting pressures. Many states are introducing laws that limit or shape how companies can approach conversations, courageous conversations, Glenn Singleton conversations, about race, gender, and other aspects of identity at work. Introducing laws that limit or shape. Well, it depends. Do those conversations about race and gender start to enter into discriminatory practice territory? Like under Title VII or other such laws in states? Meanwhile, employees are voicing a need for safety, transparency, and belonging. Customers and business partners are increasingly choosing to support companies whose values align with their own. Ah, yes. Values. We'll be getting to more about values in company and corporate politics in another story shortly. Shane Windmeyer emphasizes that companies must avoid seeing DEI as a temporary project or public relations move. No. DEI must be a business imperative. It must be the air that we breathe, the water that we drink, the dirt that we sleep in. That's what DEI needs to be. Quote, true DEI strategy is about long-term cultural health. It helps organizations make better decisions in moments of uncertainty and provides a stable foundation when the external environment becomes unpredictable, unquote, Windmeyer says. When? When and how? Give me an active example. Where is this poster child company? What is it? What is a circumstance or an event where DEI swooped in and saved the day? DEI as a driver of innovation. Oh, innovation. Let's see. Before I read this part. A multitude of perspectives allows for more creativity and ID exchange or something. One of the most compelling reasons to prioritize DEI strategy is its proven link to innovation. Research consistently shows... What research? From who? Is it McKinsey and Company? Research consistently shows that diverse teams outperform more homogeneous groups. Okay, describe for me a non-diverse employee. Especially in industries that rely on creative problem solving and fast adaptation. A culture of inclusion ensures that employees feel empowered to share new ideas and perspectives, which leads to better products and stronger customer relationships. Windmeyer has advised some of the nation's top organizations, such as... Who? Where? Why don't you name them? Some of the nation's top organizations as they built out DEI initiatives. Okay, he notes that when teams reflect the communities they serve, they are more likely to anticipate shifts in market trends and avoid costly blind spots. Quote, innovation thrives when people feel safe and valued. DEI strategy gives companies a competitive edge that cannot be easily replicated, Winmeyer explains. Where? If I had read the same article 7 years ago, I wouldn't be able to tell the difference. I wouldn't know it was 2026. If you sent this article back in time 8 years and just took out the references to 2026, I'd be reading the exact same text of every presentation or argument I've heard over the last 9 years. No examples, no active advice, just fluff, just promises, snake oil. Okay, here we go. Navigating legal and political uncertainty. Yeah, I mean, ostensibly, I've been doing that as an observer for my entire channel's lifespan. Recent years have brought new complexities to the world of DEI. They're not new complexities, they're old laws. But anyway, as legislation evolves, or is rediscovered, companies may feel caught between competing demands from government regulators, employees, and the broader public. Some organizations have responded by scaling back DEI programs or avoiding discussions about identity altogether. Yes, and we'll get to one of those again shortly. Winmeyer believes this is a mistake. One of the major DEI consulting guys thinks that walking back from DEI is a mistake. Golly, okay. He argues that companies should instead seek expert guidance to build compliance-aware, values-driven strategies. Oh, would Mr. Winmeyer be one of those experts that should be sought out and given a paycheck? Quote, it is not enough to do the bare minimum, he says. Quote, companies that are proactive about DEI are better positioned to adapt to new laws without losing sight of their values or undermining employee trust. New laws, yeah. The Civil Rights Act of 1964. Legal uncertainty also increases reputational risk. Companies that fail to act may find themselves subject to public criticism, reduced customer loyalty, or difficulties attracting talent. A clear DEI strategy is the best insurance against these pitfalls. I'll tell you what the clearest DEI strategy is to avoid legal pitfalls? Get rid of it. I would love if this article would explain to us, why is there any legal risk with DEI? What is the root of any possible legal risk with DEI? How long does this go on? Oh my God. I'm going to skip down a bit because I have a feeling I'm going to be wasting my time with a lot of this text. By the way, a link to all of the stories I'll be covering is in the description below if you want to check them out for yourself. So if you think I'm missing something, by all means, you can see for yourself. Practical steps for companies in 2026. Okay, let's do some bare bones brass tacks here. What can companies do in 2026 when it comes to DEI? Practical steps. For companies looking to strengthen their DEI strategy heading into 2026, Winmeyer recommends several practical steps. By all means. First, leaders must make a genuine commitment at the highest levels of the organization. A commitment to what? DEI should be treated as a strategic priority, not just an HR issue. How so? Second, nothing else is going to be explained. Okay. Just strategic priority, whatever that means. Second, companies should invest in ongoing education and dialogue, ensuring that employees at every level understand both the why and the how of inclusion. Well, can you tell us what the why and the how of inclusion is? These are practical steps, mind you. Third, organizations need to collect and act on data using metrics to measure progress and hold themselves accountable. Oh, what sort of metrics? Would it be a demographic split with a percentile goal on a timetable? You mean a quota? What kind of quota? Finally, Windmeyer encourages companies to seek external expertise, like Windmeyer, when needed. Navigating new laws and complex cultural shifts requires the perspective of someone who has seen these challenges before. So they need to hire a lawyer, is what you're saying. Maybe a civil rights attorney? Quote, there is no shame in asking for help, he says. Quote, DEI is a journey, and having the right guidance can make all the difference, unquote. Conclusion. The case for DEI in 2026. As American businesses prepare for another year of transformation, the case for DEI has never been clearer. Well, I mean, the case for DEI has always been opaque, and it still is, so I guess it never really has been clearer. It's as clear as it's ever been, I guess. Companies with a thoughtful, authentic approach to inclusion will not only survive the challenges of 2026, but will emerge as leaders in their industries. Shane Windmeyer's message for companies is simple and direct. Quote, DEI is no longer optional. Okay, it is essential for any organization that wants to stay relevant, resilient, and respected. The 3 R's. The companies that invest in DEI strategy now are the ones that will shape the future, unquote. In a world where change is the only constant, that kind of leadership is needed now more than ever. I hate to tell you this. DEI has been around in name since roundabouts 2017, 2018. As a title, DEI. It started as diversity, then it went to D&I for diversity and inclusion, and then somewhere 2017 to 2018, they made it DEI, and that became sort of the baseboard moniker. Okay, so 2018, 2019, 2020, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 8 years DEI has been a factor in corporate America, at least. What has happened to the companies that started investing in DEI from the ground floor? Where are they now? What are they doing with DEI now? How successful have they been? Can you draw a straight line from their implementation of DEI to the current day and say, this is the reason that number went up? Did number go up? It's like this guy's making a pitch for DEI again back in 2017. Get on the ground floor, guys. This is the place to be. No, we've been there. We've done that. And it's all falling apart very quickly. So, anyway, that's the opening pitch in 2026. DEI is an imperative business strategy. But what do you guys have to say? Eric Grinstatter. Hello, Eric Grinstatter. I don't believe I've said that name out loud for a while, unless I'm forgetting something. How's it going? Hope you're doing well. Valentine Puppy, hello. It's been too long since I last heard you on Midnight's Edge. Yeah, well, it's the matter of time slot. The old time frame, the show started exactly at the time of my usual workday, where there was a sort of a regular lull, because part of my work involves waiting for other people in different places to send things to me, and their schedules are slightly off because of time zones. So I have a little bit of a grace period where I'm kind of just hurrying up and waiting on most days. And so that's why I was able to join in on Midnight's Edge. When Midnight's Edge moved their schedule back 2 hours, that set the show almost entirely smack dab in the middle of my essential workday processes that I can't avoid or take a powder on or anything. So that was just the luck of the draw, the fate of things. So, but I keep in touch with them. You know, there's still the possibility of other side projects that I might join in on. And when I am able to join in on a day, if I can and it makes any sense to, I'll pop in. And I at the very least, with the with the big Marvel movies this year, Spider-Man and Doomsday, I have every intention of going to the theater to see these movies and then popping into Midnight's Edge to talk about them. If nothing else. I can't promise much else, but that's what I'm going to make the attempt. So that's that. Anyway, hello, Valentine Puppy. Let's see what else people have to say here. Blue-Eyed Scream. I suppose being efficient and putting out a good product is dumb. You have to look the part. If your aesthetics, if your window dressing on your employees don't look the part, then you're obviously not producing a good product. You might have a great product, but if it's being served to you by the wrong-looking person, that's a problem, obviously. Obviously. Let's see. Who else is here? Oh, Unfair Ophelia, hello. Hello, Unfair Ophelia. Good afternoon. And Advocate Simply, that was not a convincing sales pitch. No. No, that was corporate pablum. That was just the same sophistry that I've been reading and hearing for how many times? Those of you who are veterans, how many times have we gone through articles, panel discussions, or promotional videos, or TEDx talks, where someone's pitching DEI, and I sit here begging and begging, give me an example, give me a success story. Where is the poster child for DEI's success? There has to be one by now. It's been, like I said, it's been the better part of a decade. There's no happy examples that you can give us of anything. Like it's like point to the Fortune 500 company who can say in no uncertain terms that DEI has given them an amazing advantage. You know, or if you're a DEI consultant, name one of your clients that counts as a success story. I mean, they may talk about in sort of high-minded, abstract terms about the work that they do, but I never hear, hey, look at the work I did for this company, or look at the absolute shining example of, you know, corporate entity X that did all this DEI work and their numbers went up from no other element than their DEI initiative. I've been asking for that kind of stuff for years and years. And even the companies that promote this stuff, they have a hard time quantifying how it's paid off, more so than they're just doing it. And in that vein, let's talk a little bit about a company that we've discussed before on the channel here, to some extent, to some deep dive-ish extent, and that's Marriott. Remember Marriott? Remember me? Marriott CEO says DEI might be rebranded, but the values will never change. Doesn't that mean you're not changing anything but the name? Or am I missing something? I could... Anyway, Marriott International CEO is addressing the controversy surrounding the corporate rollback of DEI while affirming the company's commitment to the values behind it, even as the language and messaging evolve. Okay, so the values of DEI. So identity politics, active and systemic discrimination, and the estimation of someone's worth on the basis of their skin color or gender. But the names are changing. Okay. Michael Bush, CEO of Marriott International, recently spoke at the Great Place to Work for All Summit in Las Vegas, okay, where he candidly addressed, and part of the word addressed is the hyperlink, okay, candidly addressed how the global company is responding to President Donald Trump's executive orders targeting diversity, equity, and inclusion initiatives. Fortune reports, Bush reflected on lessons from his mentor and former chairman, Bill Marriott, reaffirming the company's ongoing commitment to DEI. How are you committing to DEI if you're getting rid of DEI? Quote, the winds blow, but there are some fundamental truths for those 98 years, Capuano said. Who's Capuano? What? I thought we were talking about Michael Bush. Who's Capuano? Did I miss something here? Did they delete a paragraph from this? Okay. Quote, we welcome all to our hotels, and we create opportunities for all. No, you don't, and I'll look at that in a second. And fundamentally, those will never change. The words might change, but that's who we are as a company, unquote. Who's Capuano? Is that name even mentioned anywhere in this thing prior to that paragraph? Michael Bush. Chairman Bill Marriott? No. What? Okay. After Trump kicked off his return to the White House in January by making sweeping changes to DEI. Okay, Trump did not make changes to DEI. Trump just said DEI is an inherently illegal practice and you need to stop it. DEI is still DEI. Also, Jill Powers, the River Daughter, is here. Hello, Jill. Nice to see you. Hope you're having a good day. Okay, who wrote this article? Black Enterprise on Yahoo News. Okay. Right. By making sweeping changes to DEI, many companies scrambled to respond. Marriott leaders were among the few major corporations to publicly state their commitment to DEI. Until now. What made you change your mind? Capuano? Who is Capuano? Capuano met with Marriott's leadership team to process the news before attending the America's Lodging Investment Summit in Los Angeles, where he faced numerous questions about the company's DEI plans. His message stayed true to the company's DEI values, leaving him moved by the 40,000 employees who expressed their appreciation for the company's continued support of the practice. Oh yeah, I mean, if all of your employees don't have to worry about their jobs being taken away because they fit the right demographic, I'm sure they want to keep DEI going. Because if not having appropriate skills and experience for a job isn't a necessary requirement to get a job. Anyway, quote, within 24 hours, I had 40,000 emails from Marriott associates around the world saying thank you, he said, noting the appreciation many expressed to work for a company whose values aligned with their own. Yes, we too are happy to be discriminatory and racist in our hiring and promotion practices. Marriott is known for having one of the happiest workforces in the world. I'm sure. Ranking number 8 on Fortune's 2025 100 Best Companies to Work For list, with 90% of employees endorsing the company, well above the 57% average. The company is also among Fortune's best companies actively supporting DEI policies alongside peers like Delta and Cisco. Not Commander Cisco, just Cisco. Yeah, well, let's take a look at some of Marriott's DEI policies. From their 2021 Serve 360 report. New and accelerated DE&I goals as part of our efforts to advance women and people of color, which is not either racist or sexist. Marriott has accelerated our objectives to diversify our leadership and business opportunities. In 2021, we announced the acceleration of our efforts to achieve global gender parity, i.e. a 50% quota in company leadership by 2023, 2 years earlier than the original goal. We also established a new objective to increase the representation of people of color in executive positions in the United States. Oh. So we're also a racist company. Okay, our key DE&I goals include achieve gender representation parity for global company leadership by 2023, increase representation of people of color in executive positions from 20.5% to 25% by 2025. What's this? A percentile goal based on race on a timeline? Is that a racial quota? Andrea Lucas at the EEOC. Looky. Achieve 3,000 diverse and women-owned hotels by 2025. Oh. And what is diverse? Well, we know what the opposite of diverse means. Yeah. And here's their breakdown of what their important metrics are for their workforce. How many women they have, how many people of color, U.S. workforce by race and ethnicity, U.S. managers by race and ethnicity, and by generation. Yeah. So that was 2021. And the Serve 360 report for 2021 was 86 pages long, chock full of ESG goodness. Well, if you jump ahead 2 years to 2023, their report shrunk to 13 pages. And this was the year that they were supposed to achieve gender parity in leadership. So how did that go? Let's see. Providing access to opportunity. Infusing diversity, equity, and inclusion into our business operations is integral to the company's success. Marriott's goal is to be a global, transformational leader in DEI, with our actions serving as opportunities to instill a sense of belonging to those who enter Marriott's doors. Our goal, gender parity for global executives. Achieve gender parity for global executives by year-end 2023. Progress, as of 2023, 47%. Oh, so close to achieving that gender quota in hiring and promotion. Goal, people of color representation for U.S. executives. Increase the representation of people of color for U.S. executives to 25% by year-end 2025. As of 2023, they are at 22%. There's 3 more percentage points to go. 3 more percentage points of a racial quota in hiring and promotion on a timeline. Yeah. Supplier diversity. 1,800 or plus diverse or women-owned hotels open in the U.S. and Canada. Committed to $50 million as part of Marriott's Bridging the Gap, a program to increase hotel development and ownership among historically underrepresented groups. Oh, so earmarking money specifically for people on the basis of their race or gender. Okay. I mean, as long as you're telling us in no uncertain terms that you are a racist and sexist company. Oh, but your values are staying the same. The names may change. We might not call it DEI anymore. We'll call it something else, cultural competency or culture fit or impact. But our values are the same. You know, how we value people on the basis of what they look like, for opportunities and funding and business and promotions and hiring. I mean, we're not going to call it DEI anymore, but the values remain the same. Thanks, Marriott. Thanks. Let's see. Simon Wilkins had to rejoin and rewind because the YouTube app on my iPad crashed after being paused for a while. Silly YouTube. Silly YouTube tricks are for kids. Advocatus, you know what kind of employees are usually the happiest? The ones who get paid and really don't do anything. I know. Okay. Does anybody have any advice about these over behind the ear things? Because this little plastic thing, it keeps bending outwards. Is there a way to shape this to fit my ear? This is annoying the heck out of me. You'll probably see me like messing with this most of the streams now because like I bend it, try to make it go the right way. If anybody knows, if you're like a musician out there, you use these kind of headphones, and you know of any tricks to try to like shape or mold those things to go like around your ear and not like wiggle around it, I would appreciate some help because I don't know what I'm doing. I'm a complete amateur, I admit it. Blue-eyed Scream, I have the correct genitals. I might be able to get a tan. I guess I can manage a large hotel. Exactly, that's all you need to do. Organizational experience, a business degree, prior experience running a complex organization. Just make sure you look the part. That'll get your foot in the door. As long as your foot is the correct shade and daintiness, I suppose. Get better ears. Okay. Thanks, advocate. I appreciate the advice. Is that such a professional medical advice? Thanks. Anyway, if there is a way, I have not figured it out yet. Yeah, I assume there must be some trick. Like if I get a heat gun or something and melt the plastic or something, I don't know. It's annoying is what it is. But anyway, my ear problems aside, there is a place that is not having so many problems, purportedly now, and that is Idaho. No, not Idaho, Idaho. Because Idaho education funding restored after rooting out DEI, State Department reveals. They rooted out DEI like it's a weed, like it's an invasive fungus. And it is. The Idaho governor stood by his commitment to eliminate diversity initiatives in education. Good. What happened? The Idaho Department of Education announced that federal funding has been restored to its community schools after previously being accused of pushing diversity, equity, and inclusion. I've done a couple of videos on Idaho and DEI in the past, so accusations may be correct. A statement from the Idaho Department revealed that nearly $30 million had been frozen from a federal grant that was previously awarded to the United Way of Treasure Valley in 2023. The grant was intended to run through 2028 and provide funding to 65 schools. The United Way of Treasure Valley was originally told last month that the federal government would be ending the grant early, citing concerns about language in the original document. What language? This led to U.S. Senators Mike Crapo, I'll be nice, Mike Crapo of Idaho, and Jim Risch of Idaho writing a letter to the U.S. Department of Education on behalf of United Way Treasure Valley for an appeal to the decision. Although the appeal was initially rejected, the Idaho Department of Education announced the federal government has long since reversed course. Quote, Idaho has long been a leader in rooting out DEI in our education system. I'll have to take your word for it. Idaho Governor Brad Little said in a statement, quote, I was pleased to learn that the U.S. Department of Education restored Idaho's grant funding after recognizing the work we have done to eliminate DEI in our programs. The decision confirms these funds were not being used to promote DEI initiatives. Okay, I'm all ears. All annoyed ears. What work had you done? In a separate statement, Idaho Superintendent of Public Instruction Debbie Critchfield applauded the United Way of Treasure Valley for its continued advocacy and the U.S. Department of Education for its continued support. What have you done? What have you done to root out DEI? I want to hear. I want to see you as the role model for other states. Quote, this decision affirms that community schools are both effective and fully aligned with federal and state law, and that they reflect the values Idaho families care about most, strong schools and strong families, Critchfield said. Quote, I'm grateful to the U.S. Department of Education for engaging in a thorough review and for continuing to support this essential program. What have you done? When reached for comment by Fox News Digital, a representative for the U.S. Department of Education said, quote, we can confirm that the department reinstated Idaho's grant after they removed illegal and harmful DEI from their application, such as that had been approved under the Biden administration. Like what? This is a direct result of the Trump administration evaluating every taxpayer dollar that is going out the door from ED. We are ensuring dollars are spent on meaningful learning, not divisive ideologies. Great. What was the language in the application from the Biden administration that they got rid of or defied? Okay, while eliminating DEI in education has been a priority of the Trump administration, Idaho has pushed back on diversity programs in education prior to President Donald Trump taking office. Okay, in December 2024, the Idaho Board of Education unanimously agreed on a resolution that Idaho universities cannot, quote, require specific structures or activities related to DEI, unquote. And that's where the story ends. Okay. So in December of 2024, after Trump had already been elected, after he'd already made statements about what he intended to do regarding DEI, the Idaho board, a month before his inauguration, decided to push back. Better late than never, I guess. Thank goodness. Well, I'll take it versus the alternative, I suppose. Malachi D. Wildman, earpiece plastic can be shaped via mini torch, heat, or boiling water bath. Use a small needle, nose, pliers for bending. I figured it would be something complicated. I don't have a mini torch. Boiling water I can do, but... All right, I will figure it out. Some way, somehow, I will figure this out. Because it bugs me. It should have came with a kit or something that lets you, like, form it to your ear before it perma-shapes it or something. I'll become a professional at this someday, I swear. Advocates Diaboli, Idaho, rooting potatoes. It's true. Kind of, sort of. Blue-Eyed Scream, shout out to my Idahos and Idahomies. Okay. Thank you, Blue-Eyed Scream. Appreciate it. Let's see. Why is Glenn Close giving real estate? Oh, I don't know who that was, but it's crazy ads. But let's talk about something that is decidedly odd. And I read a little bit ahead into this article because I wasn't sure what it was talking about. But it is one of the odder DEI stories. And unless I missed something. Oh, yeah, no, wait. I did have another story. I got to bring that up over here. The story that I'm going to end off with. There we go. Okay. This is a weird one. So let's walk through it, shall we? Emails seem to confirm Trump anti-DEI order responsible for removal of Black Soldiers Memorial from Dutch Cemetery. Now, when I read that headline, I thought to myself, I've been covering the DEI executive orders in one way, shape, or form since they were released in 2025, so almost an entire year now. Where in any of those orders did it say, thou shalt remove Black soldiers from war memorials? I couldn't think of a one. So my first thought was, is this some kind of petulant compliance? Or some overreaction? Or some reverse racism? Let's find out. The removal last year of a memorial honoring Black American World War II soldiers in Europe sparked concerns on both sides of the Atlantic. As far as I know, this is the first I'm hearing of it. It's not impossible that I read something about it somewhere and just forgot. Now, internal government memos provide new insights concerning when and why the decision was made to take away the information about Black contributions to the war, confirming the impact of the Trump administration's policies against diversity, equity, and inclusion. Okay, by reading that paragraph, you would have me believe that Donald Trump, in his executive orders, wanted Black American World War II soldiers to be removed from a memorial. Like that was the logical result. Okay, emails suggest Trump's anti-DEI order led to the removal of the memorial for Black soldiers. Oh, well, see, now in your previous paragraph, it made it sound like his policies alone did it. But now you're saying it led to? It did not say to? Newsweek reported in November about the removal of 2 commemorative plaques honoring Black soldiers at the Netherlands American Cemetery in Margraten, a village near the city of Maastricht. At the time, the reason for the removal was unclear, with local officials not receiving prior notification that the plaques would be taken down. Well, who took down the plaques? The American government or the overseers of the Netherlands American Cemetery? The timing and circumstances of the removal, however, suggested that the decision was taken in response to President Donald Trump's anti-DEI policies. Now, emails obtained by the Jewish Telegraphic Agency and reviewed by Newsweek confirm that Trump's order was the impetus for the removal. Okay, the English major in me is having a hissy fit. Did Trump order black World War II soldiers' memorials to be removed? Or was someone reacting to it like a lunatic? Impetus? In the emails, officials with the American Battle Monuments Commission, which administers the Margraten site and other American cemeteries abroad, discussed the impact of an executive order Trump issued in March targeting diversity, equity, and inclusion policies. In the emails, officials within ABMC agreed to, quote, do a scrub to be sure we have nothing that might run our agency awry of this executive order, unquote, and specifically look to see if, quote, there might be any panel displays that would get us in trouble at any visitor center, unquote, followed by a reference to the Margraten Cemetery. These newly revealed conversations lend credence to the previous assumption that Trump's policies were the cause of the removal. Why are you not quoting me the part in the executive orders that say, thou shalt remove black people from American war history? Trump's anti-DEI stance leads to historical whitewashing. Okay, on whose decision? Trump or some nutjob that thinks, oh, no more DEI, that means we're erasing black people? Oh my God. As Blavity reported, sounds legit, Dutch media and an independent historian on social media, want to give us their names, had brought attention to the removal of plaques at the cemetery that highlighted the contributions of black U.S. soldiers in World War II. One of the two plaques discussed the segregated conditions under which black soldiers served. The other highlighted the heroics of George H. Pruitt, who died attempting to save a fellow soldier. The plaques, added in 2024, were removed at some point in the summer of 2025 after Trump issued his anti-DEI executive order, and the Conservative Heritage Foundation filed a complaint about the American Battle Monuments Commission violating the order. How did they violate the order? By removing the plaques or not removing the plaques? What? Since taking office last January, Trump has pursued a campaign against DEI initiatives and other programs that conservatives deem woke. No. Conservatives do not deem them woke. The progressives called them woke from the get-go. Woke is their word. That's how they refer to all of these initiatives and social justice priorities since 2014 and onward. This anti-DEI push, promoted by several executive orders and federal policy changes, has resulted in DEI programs being shut down within the federal government, as well as creating pressure for private corporations to end their DEI initiatives. Yes, all of that is true, and all of that was explicitly stated within the executive orders. Where in the executive orders did it say, erase black people's contributions to American history from history? It has also led to significant whitewashing of American history at military institutions, museums, and national parks. By whom? Under whose command did that happen? Cite for me the portion of the executive orders or anything the Trump administration has said that underline, thou shalt not have black people revealed as being part of American history in any way, shape, or form, especially in the military. Show me that part of the executive order. Or is this being done by a bunch of know-nothing, activist, petulant idiots? Now, new evidence indicates that this anti-DEI purge has reached overseas as well. In the process, a European memorial to the black soldiers who fought and in some cases died during World War II was quietly removed, seemingly out of fear of violating Trump's policies. Yeah, by idiots! What? Show me the stated policy in the executive orders that said anything about the removal of war history. Okay, you have a couple of scenarios here. Either you have absolute paranoid and cowardly idiots who somehow, and I can't imagine why, think that DEI means only black people, and then without consulting anybody for clarification, just make a knee-jerk move to do something that isn't even hinted at in the executive orders. Or, and here's the other part, and I mentioned this before, you have some high and mighty, full of themselves activist deciding to interpret what Trump is saying is obvious racism, and so we're going to comply with what the president wants, and then we're going to make and manufacture a controversy and blame Trump for his racist policies. Because look at what he made me do! He made me remove the black people from history! That's obviously what he meant, obviously. Okay, to steal a line from Undoomed, and all apologies to Undoomed, I'm not taking credit for it. Morons, fucking morons. Oh, man. Advocatus. They are playing a game. They remove things that are not covered by the EOs just to outrage people by making them think that was their point. Yeah. You've either got some, like I say, paranoid busybodies, or some activists in place deciding to take advantage of the situation to be like, I was just doing what you meant. I read between the lines. You know, I also see secret messages in tree bark. But yeah, obviously that's what Trump wanted. Yeah, when he came out with the executive orders on DEI, he's like, yeah, we're going to eliminate the memory of black people from U.S. history. I remember that executive order. Don't you? Don't you remember his campaign promise on that point? Yeah. Pepperidge Farm remembers. Let's see. Moist tree rat is here, everybody. It's true. And not just any moist tree rat, the moist tree rat, at least in the sphere that I exist in. This sphere, right here. Okay. Anyway, we have one more story. A story of hope, after a fashion. That bit by bit things are actually changing in a, dare I say, substantive way. Eighth Circuit's compelled speech decision on DEI is a win for the First Amendment. In a victory for First Amendment rights, the Eighth Circuit Court of Appeals ruled in favor of a group of school employees who objected to so-called diversity, equity, and inclusion training. According to a release from the Goldwater Institute, which joined the suit as a friend of the court, school officials in Springfield, Missouri forced teachers to endure a DEI training session which declared things such as, quote, calling the police on black people, or, quote, treating kids of color as adults, unquote, are forms of white supremacy. According to Goldwater, it all began when the teachers were ordered by the district to attend a meeting where they were taught what was then the up-to-date social justice dogma, specifically that America's legal, economic, social, and cultural institutions are saturated with, quote, covert white supremacy, manifested in everything from, quote, claiming reverse racism to the idea of colorblindness. The instructors at the session told attendees that white people are inherently privileged and that they were morally obligated to not only acknowledge your privileges, but to renounce that privilege and to undertake, at all times, to eliminate their inherent and even subconscious racism. According to Goldwater, two school employees objected to those assertions, but were told their views were, quote, confused and wrong, and that they, quote, needed to work on themselves, unquote. Quote, when they persisted, they were told that their disagreement was like having a conversation about football and you bring up baseball, whatever that means. In the end, they were forced to shut up and stay silent. Worse, they were required to take a test in which the correct answers were those prescribed by DEI orthodoxy. When, for example, one employee was asked on the exam how including DEI concepts in the class will improve the educational environment, she wanted to answer that it does not because she thinks people should be judged by the content of their character rather than the color of their skin. But that was considered an incorrect answer. The employees sued, represented by the Southeastern Legal Foundation, arguing that the DEI training requirement violated their First Amendment rights. Amazingly, the trial judge threw the case out as frivolous and punished them by imposing a massive attorney fee award against them, the release reads. When they appealed, the Goldwater Institute filed a friend of the court brief, joined by the Kansas Justice Institute, the Mississippi Justice Institute, and the Show Me Institute, arguing that DEI is inherently compulsory because under DEI theory, to disagree with the assertion that white people are inherently racist is automatically deemed racist. And being labeled racist is, of course, career suicide for any public school employee. The Eighth Circuit Court reversed that decision entirely. Quote, the training session, the court explains, forced employees to pledge allegiance to DEI and censored them from expressing their disagreement. Not only did the school district force acceptance or adoption of the school's views, but it threatened to punish those who voiced opposition, even while it claimed that they could speak their minds. The plaintiff self-censored to avoid negative consequences that the school district itself repeatedly said it would impose. The employee would be asked to leave the training, the employee would not receive credit, and, if this happened, their pay would be docked because completion of the training was mandatory, unquote. Let's see. This is America, McRoberts said. The government can't force you to agree with things you don't agree with. The Eighth Circuit got it right. Well, let's hope that that holds. And let's hope that becomes a precedent that applies elsewhere. Because mandatory DEI trainings in both schools and private corporations have been a thing now for 10 years. I've done several videos on it in different places. I remember doing a skit on one video describing the experience of someone that didn't want to participate in a DEI training. That was fun. I got to apply my voice talent work in that one. I can see the skit in my head now. I don't remember which video that was. Was that the that might have been the Citibank video. I believe I made the title A City Way of Thinking. I think that might be in there. So if you want to dig up the link to that one, or I will dig it up and put it in the description for later purpose. Anyway, so that's good news on a legal front that sets a legal precedent that gives some ammunition to those fighting against this stuff in both schools and hopefully in other organizations in the future. Hopefully. Daryl Liddell, just shut up and accept your re-education. Yeah, you're not allowed to disagree. You know, we're going to tell you how things work. The world works this way. White people are inherently racist. To criticize anyone not white is immediately racist, and you should apologize for your inherent racism because you are racist because you're white. Yeah, we're anti-racist here at this school, which means that we know that racism embeds all things at all times, and you can't escape it. You can only confess your racism. You cannot cure yourself of it. So, good for the Eighth Circuit. Now, will the case be taken higher? Can you take me higher? I don't know. If it goes to the Supreme Court, great. Given the court's previous decision on affirmative action, and given their established attitude towards the argument to diversity, I would love for that case to be taken up at the Supreme Court. We'll see. Advocates, DEI training is where you go to take a nap. Depends on the school. If they catch you doing that, you get your pay docked, or they call you racist or something, or you get like a demerit on your record. that could affect your licensing. That's what you run the risk of. You get your teaching license put under question because you're a racist or something. That's your entire career down the tubes, possibly. So especially depending on the state you're working in. Blue-eyed scream. Let me guess, a Biden judge. Don't know. Could not say. It's possible. But yeah, there you go, guys. That is the latest and the greatest in the world of DEI for this week and the first week of 2026. We have some abstract snake oil doubling down, which doesn't surprise me much at all. We have some good legal news. We have some name game play by an established corporation that just loves their values. We'll hide behind new terms for it. We love our values and our percentile racial gender goals for hiring and so on. Yeah, in Idaho, I guess, though they were a relatively conveniently late comer to the idea, defied DEI things and got their money back. I mean, as an example and as an encouragement towards other organizations to do the same, I'll take it in the absence of anything else. But now we're on a clock, guys. It is now officially 2026. We're into the new year. Promises have been made by the EEOC that 2026 is going to be the year that something happens to corporate America in regards to DEI. Andrea Lucas, the chairman or commissioner, whatever the title is, at the EEOC, has said that she and her team and the Department of Justice are looking at archival information on corporate entities for their DEI policies, both now and in the past, which I'm very happy to hear, and that purportedly consequences are coming. There's even the idea that they're pursuing leveraging some kind of fraud law to punish companies that have been pushing DEI. I read a story about that last week. Check it out if you haven't already. I'm still not quite sure, admittedly not being a legal expert, how they're going to make that square fit that round hole, but I guess we'll see how that works out. But yeah, so if 2025 was me just waiting and waiting and waiting for something meaningful to happen, especially in the corporate world, the private sector, well, now it's been explicitly stated that this is the year. So as the weeks go on with DEI Deathwatch, we're really looking for that poster child, that first and meaningful subject of consequence of years and years of demonstrably illegal civil rights violations. Who will it be? Purportedly, they're looking at Google and Verizon were the two names mentioned in last week's article. I keep thinking that Disney would be a good low-hanging fruit and a political red meat for the Trump administration. But time will... I'm not going to complain. If they go after Google, you can't really think of a bigger figure in business, or especially the tech industry, or the San Francisco mindset than Google. So, sure. But time will tell. Otherwise, programming note, Thursday at 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 p.m. Eastern will be the next episode of TED Excellence, of our second TEDx talk of the new year. Already new ones are rolling in. Boy, oh boy. I don't know if I'll do this one, but the first one that I saw today that was posted on my little alerts was, well, I'm summarizing the title a little bit, but the magic of menstrual blood. Yeah. There must have been some magic in that monthly gift they found. For when they put it under a microscope, you could grow a new heart. Or something. I don't know. Anyway, that's just one option. I'll keep it in mind depending on what happens by Thursday. But otherwise, guys, that's the show. A couple other things before I go. Did you know I have a Discord server? I have a Discord server. Have you joined the Discord server? If you haven't joined the Discord server, it's probably because you don't know the secret word. And you only find out the secret word at the end of the stream. And that tells me that you watched the whole show. So yes, there's a link in the chat right now to the Discord server. If you'd like to join, click on that link. You'll find yourself on the landing channel called Say Hello. And in addition to saying hello, you have to say the secret word. The secret word will tell me that you watched the whole stream or skip to the end of it within the day that the link is valid for, and are not a bot, and have thus earned the right, the privilege, the entitlement to join the Discord server. And today's secret word is Marriott. Just say, hello, Marriott, and I'll know that you watched the show. Outside of that, I want to thank everybody for joining me. Moderators, thank you for keeping an eye on things, even though everyone here is so well behaved. You have very, very little to do. Everybody who donated either to myself or at the top of the chat box, guys, the link to the Leukemia Lymphoma Society. Thank you guys so much for your generosity. Either way, appreciate it. I'm trying to make sure I make this reminder at the end of every show now. If there's a content creator out there that you like or appreciate, whether it's me or anybody else, especially if it's a small channel, please do, if you like their stuff, let people know that you do. Retweet their videos, advertise their streams when you can, and especially for myself, if you retweet my stuff on the X machine, please tag me in those tweets when you do them, because that tells me that you did it. And when I see those things, I can thank you personally, because I really do appreciate it. You guys really are the best algorithm. With that, everyone, have a good rest of your Monday and week ahead of you. I hope you're all safe and well. If you're not well, please get well soon, and I'll see you on the next one. Take care. Bye-bye.